2, lose your first 20 pounds without diets, without hours wasted in the gym, and how to make the process predictable and sustainable to become that elite level leader. Over the years, we've been working with a lot of entrepreneurs, hybrid style entrepreneurs, meaning they do have a job, they start a business, they scale the business, they quit the jobs. A lot of people in the executive positions and the sales positions and managers. And what we've seen is, like, although all these guys are accomplishing some form of success financially and professionally, they're lacking one thing, and that thing is health, the body that they carry along with them, and their basically vitality. And so today we gonna cover all that. Welcome, everybody. I wanted to congratulate you for investing this time in your own health and in your body. Basically, if you're following through, what you're going to learn today can change your life. Of course, you have to put in the work. Nothing is gonna change just by hearing some information. So I have a saying in our VIP community: information without implementation is useless. So I hope you're here because you not only want to hear what works, what can actually work for you, but you're actually committed to transforming your body, your health, and as a result of that, your life. So can I get a commitment from you today that you'll actually implement what I will share with you? Drop yes in the chat or in the comments. I see some thumbs up here. Whatever you're watching this from, just say yes if you're willing to not only consume this information, but put it to action. Because I only want you here if you are, and otherwise it's going to be a waste of your time, if you're ready to move the needle, if you're ready to make that progress that you actually are looking for. Awesome. Because what I'm about to share in this masterclass, I see a lot of coaches charge thousands of dollars. And the problem with that is I personally signed up for these master classes and webinars and live trainings that a lot of online health and fitness coaches have been promoting massively on social media, because I've been bombarded with ads. Everybody's trying to hit us with, get shredded by summer, by spring, whatever. And I signed up. This is what I do. That's how I learn. I immerse myself in the industry. And what I've noticed is, like, a lot of fluff, but nothing actually implementable. And so today I'm actually giving away a lot of stuff that you can literally put to use and transform your body. And so as we get going, I have one challenge for you. And that challenge is take on accountability to make progress. And there are 2 steps here. The step number 1 is you can join the Hybrid Method community that we have on Facebook. And once you do, please make an intro post with your goals, with your action plan, and keep us posted with your progress after the masterclass. Okay, to make sure that your weight loss and body transformation journey doesn't end when this training ends. And we all know that accountability is key when it comes to taking on a new journey. And so what I challenge and invite you at the same time to do is grab your phone, scan this QR code, and join the group. Someone will be there and accept you. Once you join the group, after we're done with this, introduce yourself, share your goals, and share your action steps that you've learned that you're going to implement as a result of this masterclass. Because again, if we're not getting into action, nothing will change. Okay. And step 2 if you want some extra accountability, even more accountability, grab your phone just like that. Okay, you can do this with me. Turn the camera and just take a selfie, being on the masterclass, and share your intentions with your tribe. When I say your tribe, I'm referring to people that are following you, that are your friends on social media, on Facebook, because here's what happens. You take a selfie of yourself, you write down some clear intentions, some clear goals. And then as a result of that, you will be holding yourself accountable, but also you want to stick to your word and commitment and be in integrity with it. And your tribe, your people will hold you accountable. And you can tag me. We got to do, I like to do this on every masterclass that we host. We do, people follow us, we follow them back. And this is also to get that extra accountability, because I am personally going to keep an eye on your profile, on your transformation, on your journey, to make sure that you're actually moving in the right direction. Okay. So who's willing to take on at least one of these 2 challenges? Drop me in the comments and the chat. Again, whatever you're watching this from, and just say me if you're willing to actually take on some accountability today. Because, it's easy to say we're doing things, but when it comes to getting into action, we're having a hard time executing. So drop me in the comments or drop me in the chat if John says yes, if you're ready to take on accountability. Okay. So with that being said, let's get into some house rules. So number 1, have something ready to take notes with. It can be a notebook and a pen. It can be a Word document that you open on your computer. Make sure that you have something to take notes, because what's going to happen is we will be going over some important information that you don't want to miss. You want to write down and have it with you. Oftentimes what happens is people get super excited. There's a lot of things that they, learn. And what happens is after the master class or the event is over, they go back with their, go back to their day-to-day chores and activities, and they forget. All right. Who's this master class for? Well, this is for you if you want to learn how to predictably lose weight without guesswork. And I'm going to add a lot of sustainability strategies in there today. This is for you if you tried diets, if you tried fitness challenges, if you tried personal trainers, but you're still yo-yoing, meaning gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, having a hard time knowing how to keep it off once and for all. This is also for you if you think that you must cut out sugar, or, oh, I have to eliminate carbs, or I have to eat quote unquote clean, right? We hear this all the time. Or I have to eliminate alcohol in order to lose weight. As you will learn, you don't have to do any of that if you don't choose to. This is also for you if you're already currently doing a lot of cardio and working out tirelessly, but not seeing any significant results in the gym. And this is for you if you understand kilocalories, macronutrients, and tracking food properly. So those of you who registered on a timely manner, I sent you a set of training, 2 training videos. I hope you watch those, because that is the first step. You have to understand kilocalories and macronutrients. You have to understand how to track food properly. A lot of times people think they know how to track until we take a look at their MyFitnessPal account, and what we see is I'm eating a cup of this, a tablespoon of that, a piece of this, a slice of that, and they don't know why they're plateauing. Okay, so I'll go over that later. However, this is not for you if you're not open-minded and willing to do things differently than you have been, right? So if you've tried a couple of things or a lot of things in the past and you realize that, okay, I've been making some progress, but lost it and nothing really stuck, you got to be open-minded. You have to be receptive, in a receptive state, so you can actually, start doing things differently, because obviously what you've been doing so far, it hasn't been working. If you're looking for an easy button or magic pill, there's none of that here today. So if that's you, this training might not be for you. Okay. There's no shortcuts when it comes to accomplishing a permanent transformation. I've coached people who chose to look for shortcuts, weight loss surgeries, a lot of like surgical interventions. And unfortunately, there's not much we can do there. Okay, so we can go more into, we'll go more in detail, but there's none of that here. If you want extraordinary results with ordinary levels of commitment and action, okay, if you want to accomplish above and beyond, like if you want to go above and beyond with your health and fitness, you have to go above and beyond with your attitude, priorities, and basically everything in your life that we're going to talk about today. If you're just looking for free information, but you don't invest or commit to anything, we've noticed this pattern over the years. A lot of times people try to do things very cheaply and they don't have a lot of time in their hands. And so there are two ways here. You either hire a coach that has walked the path and took 10, 20, 30 years of knowledge and compresses that in 6 months for you, or 10 months, or 12 months, or 3 months, whatever it is. Or you invest all that time, take all that time from, spending time with family, enjoying life, improving your business, your career, and trying to figure things out. Okay. As you will see, there's a lot of misinformation out there. My intentions during this training, first, I want to share the exact blueprint on how to predictably and sustainably lose at least 20 pounds. How to create the right caloric deficit for you, okay? Not going online and finding random calculators and all that stuff, because that doesn't work all the time. How to fulfill your caloric budget with delicious foods, how to make the process sustainable, how to figure out your own macros. I want to share the best practices in the gym for a shocking body transformation. A lot of times people go to the gym. Those of you who have been going to the gym for years, you've probably seen a big part of that crowd. They look the same. There's a reason behind that. Okay, so I'm going to share with you why and what you can do to actually see your body progressing faster. And cut to the chase and share what an actual permanent transformation it takes. I'm going to go through all the phases. Using what you're going to learn today, you'll lose body fat on demand without getting stuck and overwhelmed ever again, because that's like the most frustrating thing for people. And that's what can lead to quitting this entire journey and losing hope and thinking that, oh, I'm cursed. Well, you're not. Your waistline will get at least 5 inches smaller. Who's excited for that? But that has a negative or positive, however you want to consider it, side effect, right? So you'll have to get rid of the old oversized clothes, especially pants. We've had this problem. We have this issue. It's a consistent problem in the Hyper Method Academy. And this normally happens if you have at least 20 pounds to lose. You won't even feel that you're on a diet, because the cravings and consistent hunger will no longer be part of your weight loss journey if you're applying what you're going to learn today. And lastly, people around you will start complimenting your transformation and asking questions. Hey, what are you doing? And when you share with them, hey, I've been on this masterclass, and then just in an hour and a half, I've learned how to optimize my health and lose all this weight. This is what I've been doing, right? And people start getting intrigued. Now, does this work? You might ask. Well, these are the results, some of the results. These are only a few of the transformations that we've had so far from using what you're about to learn today. I didn't want to make pages after pages, but this is what happens. Okay, people come in, they try a bunch of programs, coaches, trainers, diets, 75 hard. We'll go over that in a minute too, and realize that, you know, nothing actually works long term, because all these programs, trainers, diets, apps are centered around short-term results. Nothing is meant to last. And it's not, if things were meant to help you transform forever, it wouldn't be good for business. That's the main business model of the current fitness industry. Get them fast results, get them back. Get them fast results, get them back. Okay. Now, let's look at Anne-Marie. So she lost 75 pounds in 11 months. She started at 228. She's around 153 pounds today. She improved her relationship with food, got off depression, high cholesterol medication, got off high blood pressure medication, and reversed type 2 pre-diabetes. She almost got diagnosed with type 2 pre-diabetes. Let's look at Oliver. This guy lost 40 pounds in 6 months. He was doing, when we met, he was doing 75 hard. And, you know, he was telling me how awesome this challenge is and so on. And I'm like, well, dude, what do you want to do with your body? What's your goal? And he was like, oh, I want to get more shredded. I want to see some abdominal definition. I never had any form of abdominal definition in my life, or chest definition or shoulders or anything like that. And I sign up with 75 hard because I want to get all this. I'm like, okay, what if I told you that you don't have to work out 2 times a week for 7 days? So 2 times a week, 7 days, I think 7 days every single week for 75 days, right? To get in shape. And we took him from doing that to 3 to 4 workouts and not having to do crazy stuff. And he's basically been keeping the weight off since he graduated from our academy, which was three years ago. Reverse type 2 pre-diabetes. This is a common thing. If you have a lot of weight to lose, type 2 diabetes or becoming pre-diabetic, it's a very common thing. Again, like you're becoming insulin resistant. So it's important to take action as soon as possible and reverse that. He got in the best shape he'd ever been during the pandemic. He actually worked out from home with 2 25-pound dumbbells, which was amazing to me. This was a transformation. This picture here on the right, he took it at the gym after Canada, because he was living in Canada at that time. The gyms opened up and he showed up at the gym. He's like, oh my God, taking this gym selfie. And that's him. He's a real estate professional. He used to struggle a lot with eating because he had to meet clients at restaurants every single time. And he didn't have a lot of time at the time we started working together, this guy was working 70 to 80 hour weeks. So he didn't have a lot of time on his hands to meal prep. And so he learned how to eat at restaurants without compromising his progress. He went from barely making 6 figures to earning 7 figures from his real estate career alone, because he moved from single family homes to multi-family buildings. He started investing in multifamily for passive cash flow. Now he moved from Canada down to Florida He keeps calling me once in a while. It's amazing to hear back from students, and kind of who want to keep me in the loop. Kelly lost 25 pounds in 3 months. This guy is an international pilot. He went from 22% to 12% body fat in 6 months. He really stays in his hometown for more than a week per month. He's always flying internationally. His schedule is crazy. He doesn't have a sleep routine like most people. Yeah, so he was a special case. However, things worked out pretty well. Wherever he travels, he often goes to, I think, Africa, Europe, Hawaii. Hawaii is not international, but basically, whatever he travels, he knows how to eat, to enjoy his food, and keep that progress going. He's confident that he will keep the body fat off once and for all. He says the rest is only going to be progress. That's what he told me when we assessed his last, when we had the last check-in. Now, where did all of this start? Well, a little bit about myself. I won't spend a lot of time here, but I was born and raised in a small village in Romania, struggled with health issues throughout my childhood. I've been mentally programmed with it's normal to be overweight and deal with health problems becoming an adult. That was the mantra. Drop a me in the chat. I'm just curious how many of you have heard this thing like, oh, obesity runs in the family, or diabetes, type 2 diabetes runs in the family, cancer runs in the family. It's normal. It's normal. Just let me know in the comments or in the chat if that's you, because that's how I've been brought up. Like, people were subconsciously trying to program me and make me understand that it's okay to be fat in my 30s. And so, yeah, we have some people there. I left my parents' house at 18. I was looking to figure out my own health and fitness and remove myself from what I considered an unhealthy environment for my aspirations and dreams. I worked as a personal trainer for a decade and realized that what I was doing was I was in the business of failing people. And then I moved to the US about 5 years ago by myself without a job. I didn't have a lot of people that I knew at that time. I mean, I didn't know anybody, technically. I didn't have a place to sleep. I had close to $3,000 in my pockets, but I had a big dream. Now, why am I sharing these things with you? Well, I wasn't always fit and confident in my body. I was pretty scrawny growing up, and then I was trying to, get fit somehow. I started going to the gym, but my nutrition was poor, and I got the skinny fat kind of look, and then I got overweight. Never took pictures of myself at 200 pounds. And then I got stage ready. Even this picture right here with the UFC gloves, it was taken by myself. I was at my friend's house in kind of an attic. It's like the third floor, last floor of the house, and kind of like I put the phone on his bookshelf, and I was like, trying to flex. I kept that picture on my phone until these days, where I finally have some comparison. I got injured many times. I have 2 herniated discs, torn my chest, dislocated both shoulders, torn deltoid and biceps. None of these injuries came from lifting weights, just so you know. They got aggravated at times, but none of that happened from lifting weights, from going to the gym. Yo-yoed for years, thinking that was a normal thing, meaning, I would do a bunch of cardio, I would starve myself, I would lose weight, I would lose muscle, I would put on fat. It was just a shit show. I placed 3rd in my first ever NPC bodybuilding competition. And what I did, I decided to go straight into the open class. I skipped the true novice. It was my first competition. I had the opportunity to do that. I didn't want to do it. I chose not to do it. And I was basically the only natural athlete in my class, to an NPC, on an NPC stage. My coach actually told me that, placing top 3, competing against enhanced experienced athletes as a fitness trainer is really possible. Well, I proved it to myself. I asked him, like, okay, tell me exactly what I have to do. I'll give it all. And whatever happens, happens. But at least I know that I showed up 100%. I was hiding my body in baggy clothes. This is an interesting story of my life, pretty much. So I was in high school, my graduation, the only one wearing a hoodie. If you guys look at the picture, everybody in the background, all these professors are wearing short sleeves. I was the only one hiding my toothpick arms and muffin top. So I was embarrassed. That led me to getting my master's degree in sports science, and became a personal trainer for 10 years. And that taught me some tough lessons that we're going over right now. So the harsh truth that I learned as a personal trainer. So most clients that I had as a PT were not willing to do the real work. Okay, thinking that hiring a personal trainer will solve their underlying cause of being out of shape. Okay, we'll discuss that in a bit. But basically, besides a very small percentage of people who were actually there to learn how to work out properly and get better at their nutrition, the big majority of people I was working with felt like they were running away. Like, to me, it felt like they were running away from responsibility. This is my health, but you take it because I pay you. I don't care what's going to happen, right? I don't care about the rest, but I'm not responsible, kind of thing. That was the energy that I felt all the time, and it's not that's something that works, okay? Because what you do outside of that session, what these people were doing outside of that session, was the biggest part of their transformation, the most important part of their transformation. They were not willing to fully take on that responsibility. And so they thought, I'm working with a trainer anyway, then I eat like shit, I sleep like shit, I don't care about anything else, but I work with a personal trainer if anyone asks. And that's not the way to go, because these people keep paying personal trainer after personal trainer, following diet after diet, and they're just in the same spot. The biggest part of the fitness industry, in my opinion, is like, it's a money-making scam. That's the thing that I really did not enjoy, because it was always a lying process for the people who are hoping that eventually will get in shape. And what happens is, as long as you're playing by its rules, you'll be for forever. Okay, so just keep this in mind. The third thing, 90% of your transformation comes from nutrition knowledge and implementation. You can't get abs, you can't lose weight without understanding these things. Like, you have to understand how nutrition works, and you have to understand how your body works. Okay, not by following a diet, not sweating buckets in the gym, not doing hours of cardio, workout apps, supplements, Pelotons, none of that. I was counting reps and fixing the same errors repeatedly. That didn't lead to any significant transformation. People were just always, relying on me being there, fixing the same crap over and over again, asking me the same questions out of, lack of interest. They were not genuinely interested in making a transformation. They're like, again, it's like, it's a trend. Let's pay a personal trainer because it's cool. We can say we're investing in our health, but other than that, there's zero responsibility. Okay. And another downside of that was that there were no times for nutrition and mindset coaching, because we were doing 30-minute, 45-minute, 60-minute sessions. None of that was covered. And these things are the most important elements for a profound and permanent transformation. Okay, so let's see here. What does it take for a permanent transformation? First, I invite you to officially give yourself permission to get the body that you actually want. And decide. Decide means you are picking one area of your life that you're laser focused, and as you learn what to do to improve it, you let go of all other possibilities, shiny objects, and all of that. Okay. Decide that it's time to rewrite the script that you've been living by. And when I say script, I'm referring to the fact that every one of us here has a mental program or a set of mental programs written in our subconscious mind over the years. This didn't happen overnight. Didn't happen yesterday. It has happened throughout your development. Okay. Some programs are helping us grow and expand. Some programs are getting in the way of our success. The problem is that when we're unconscious of these programs, or worse, unwilling to see them, we end up struggling and suffering, and we tend to think that's our fate. In reality, it's not. It's just a bug. It's a virus that's running the show. Your own belief creates your own reality. Who heard, again, like I've seen a couple of hands going up when I asked this, like, obesity runs in my family. Have you heard that before? Or diabetes runs in my family. Okay, because I have. And if I showed you a picture of my parents, they're both unfortunately obese. And I know a lot of people who have heard these things, and they came to us and they were having a hard time giving themselves permission to start winning, deciding to take action. Okay, and unless they had to go back and rewrite the script. If you take that limiting belief into your and you start identifying yourself with it, then the behaviors will reflect that. There is no doubt. That's why when we talk to new people who are interested in the work that we're doing, we ask them a set of questions, and then we kind of retest those questions to see what are their actual beliefs. What's holding them back? Eating habits, like if you buy into that mindset and you believe that you're cursed, that's never going to happen. Obesity runs in the family, whatever, losing weight is hard, then eating habits will be absolutely 100% in alignment with that idea. Okay. Setting time for working out is not going to be a priority. Okay. Number 2, you already got what you actually needed in your life. Okay. A lot of people say they want abs. They want to look good naked. They want to be healthy, whatever that means to them. Yet they're completely out of shape. Their habits and priorities are completely opposite from what they claim they want. We don't want to walk around. We don't want to be hypocrites. Okay. Why? What happens is most people are scared to allow themselves to get what they actually want. And they're happy with the things that they need. Because if you really wanted that good looking physique, you would have gotten it by now. Would you agree? But as long as you can move around, breathe, and do the work that you're required to do, which are things that you need, why bother to become an elite level leader? Why bother to get that elite level physique? Right? You might be driving a car right now. It might not be your dream car, but you got one because you needed it to drive around, get to work, run errands, and so on. So if you're putting food in your body on a daily basis, right? Some of us some people who struggle, like most people who struggle with getting in shape, they're putting food in that body to actually fulfill the need of survival. They don't think of, okay, I'm putting food in my body to actually thrive. That's out of the game, out of the gate. What they do is they think, okay, I'm going to put food in the body because I need to survive. I need to get by. I need to, make it until tomorrow. So stop settling for things that you need and start chasing, going after the things that you actually want. Okay. Third point here, become the person that has the body of your dreams. A lot of new students in our program send us pictures of Instagram influencers or physique competitors, or Jason Statham, or like a lot, like what is it, Fight Club, shredded guy, Brad Pitt, whatever. I want to look like that person. Well, hold on one second. It's a great goal. It's a great goal, but are you in a position where you're actually willing to become that person that has that physique? Are you actually willing to shift your mindset and your thought process to start thinking like a person who has the body that you're dreaming of? Okay. So we got to, that's where we need to start. Habits, priorities, self-talk, limiting beliefs or beliefs. These have to change once and for all in order to become that person and stay that person that you want to see in the mirror. Knowing and feeling your real what and why consistently. What does that mean? Do you know exactly what your transformation could look like 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 3 years, 5 years from now? If not, it might be the time to write it down, get clarity on that. Okay, because what's going to happen is it's like you driving around in your car. You don't have a destination on your GPS, and you just drive around the city until you run out of gas. And eventually you give up. Eventually you quit. You get tired. But you don't get to any destination. It gets frustrating. The same thing in health and fitness. A lot of times people don't even know what they actually want. They think they want something, but then they get distracted because it's not compelling enough and so on. And it's just lose patience. They lose focus. Don't let that be you. Okay. And then knowing your why. Knowing your why. Why do you actually want a permanent transformation and look and feel hot in your body, or get abs, or look good naked? What is it that you want? You want more status? You want respect? You want to get better at leadership? Get better at influencing people? Like, did you know that once you get into like a room full of people, you get judged by your appearance in 4 seconds or less? People can come up with an idea without even talking to you about you, just by looking at you. It's interesting. Do you want attraction? Do you want a partner? Do you want to have better sex? What do you want? We hear sometimes people say, well, I want to be a role model for my kids or for my people in my community, right? Okay, what do you want for yourself? And then absolutely that will translate. But what do you want for yourself? Oh, I want to live longer for my kids. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. What do you want for yourself, not for your kids? Because oftentimes what happens, people get started and this is for my kids, blah, blah. It's not compelling enough. It's not motivating you enough because it's not about you. And it's easy to fall off track. It's easy to get disconnected from the goal. When you explore your why, that needs to trigger emotions. You will get emotional when you find your real why. Trust me, because if you haven't found your real why, it's probably the main reason why you're struggling and yo-yoing and not going after what you actually want to accomplish. The same thing applies in business, the same thing applies in relationships, the same thing applies in life. Okay? Clarity leads to certainty. The clearer you get on your goals, the more precise, the more certain you are that you will be getting there, because as a result of clarity, you will find out what it actually takes. You will learn the steps to get to the destination. Okay. Lastly, you got to make room for the new you in order to transform. And to make that happen, you have to be willing and open to ditch the old version of yourself. A permanent weight loss does not happen without a permanent identity shift. We've never seen that before. People who are trying to lose weight just for a wedding or just for a trip, as you will learn, they gain it back. Okay. Now, why you might not be in top shape yet? There are a couple of reasons, and I'm hearing this from people. Now, we get to coach every single day. A lot are not willing to face the truth, which is staring back at them in the mirror. Like I had a client of mine before we started working together. He told me that he had to turn off the light in his bathroom after he would take a shower because he couldn't stand looking at himself in the mirror. Right? People run away from the problem by covering up with larger clothes and makeup and, all these plastic surgeries. But guess what? Sooner or later, it will get to you. Okay? If you want to challenge yourself and you're ready to step into your power and take ownership over your health and your body, here's what I invite you to do. Grab your phone, ask your partner, or just put it against a bookshelf or something on a table upright and take progress photos of yourself. Shirtless, in your bikini, ladies, guys, underwear, okay? Front, side, back, relaxed. Look at yourself. Look at yourself. What are the first thoughts that come to your mind? Allow yourself to experience that. For some is painful, for some is not. For some is some frustration. It doesn't matter. Allow yourself to feel that because that's going to fire your motivation. Society celebrates mediocrity and discourages excellence. I've experienced that growing up. Anytime I would step outside of the average way of thinking, I would be criticized and punished. If you're surrounded by people who are okay with mediocre results, how are you supposed to aspire for excellence? Standing out from the crowd, being that outcast, is being frowned upon. It's being judged. It's being repelled by people, by the average. It's hard to thrive. It's hard to grow if inside your bubble you only have average people. Another reason, you might be wasting 90% of the energy on band-aids, not on the root cause of the main issue. Okay, you don't need keto, you don't need intermittent fasting, you don't need 75 hard, you don't need cardio if you don't choose to. You don't need goofy, funny, odd workouts. We don't need Peloton. You don't need any of that. Yet a lot of times we see people wasting most of their time, most of their attention and energy on these things and money. You're infobese. What does that mean? Accumulating a lot of information, trying to watch YouTube's, Instagram, all that stuff. A lot of information, but zero implementation, because at some point it gets confusing. You don't believe you can do it. Belief is the reality, your own reality. Belief is the most powerful tool for creation. Your belief defines everything in your life. Can I do it? Can I not? Can I lose this weight? Can I not? Right? You invest in things more than in yourself. We've had people buy $10,000 purses and watches, and they were kind of in a scarcity mindset when it came to investing in a coach. You can't learn how to sustain, how to transform your body by investing by buying a watch or a fancy car. Sure, those make you look good on the outside, but what happens on the inside? Okay, free and cheap it's costing people more than they think or they imagine, and it's like time wasted that you never get back. Okay, ego gets in the way. Oh, I got this. I don't need help. Like stuff like that. I'm experienced. I've done this before. Well, when I hear people saying I've done this before, I'm like, okay, why are you still struggling? Because obviously what you've done before hasn't been working. So how much longer are you willing to sacrifice time? Now, How to lose 20 plus pounds without diets or time wasted in the gym. Now, I'm going to make this disclosure up front. 90% is understanding how nutrition in the body works, and 10% is working out. It's not the other way around. It's not 50-50. In my opinion, if you're doing everything properly with your diet, then the training will work if the training is right. But if you can't really outwork at or out train, I think it's saying a bad diet. That's the only way to gain and lose weight. This is the first concept here, is through managing energy balance according to your goal. Okay. What is energy balance? Well, it's the only way to change your body weight meaningfully. Energy balance is simply the difference between calories you consume and the calories you expend. When you consume less than you expend, your body has to make up the difference from somewhere. And that somewhere usually is body mass. That is your body fat. Without understanding this concept, you can try any diet you want. You can hire any personal trainer you want. You can do any boot camp you want. You won't break free. You won't. I've seen it. Okay. And this is the fundamental law of how energy and mass work in our universe. There's no debate around that. Yet a lot of times people keep telling me, it's funny, like, oh, energy, calories are not the same. Well, of course they're not the same, but there's a reason why you're gaining this weight. And the reason for that is because the amount of energy you're putting in your body from kilocalories is way above what your body needs to operate. And therefore that excess gets stored as fat. Okay. The energy you consume versus the energy you expend, I said this, but now, if you want to add pounds to your frame, all you have to do is put yourself in a positive energy balance. Eat more calories than you expend, and then you gain weight. Most people who struggle to gain weight, most people who struggle to lose weight, they eat in a caloric overage without even being aware of. The funny thing is, when we have them track in the beginning, we realize that they eat 3,500 calories. If you want to if you want to gain weight purposefully, then you have to eat more calories than the body needs. Okay, and you will put on weight. Go more in depth here. Let me see if there are any questions. Okay. Now, it's tricky for the untrained eye when it comes to these concepts because, I believe that all of us need to learn this from somebody and learn as we're practicing, because it's easy to apply the concept, but when you get stuck, what do you do? Where do you go? Who do you ask? Okay. The body, what it does is it's always trying to fight energy imbalances. The body seeks homeostasis. It's a very smart machinery that adapts all the time because the body does not want to let you die. You can't stay with the same calories for very long and not hit a plateau. What we've seen is we actually have 2 students right now in our academy who have been dieting for a long period of time, keto, very low caloric intake actually. And as you will learn about the maintenance caloric intake, they hit a big plateau and we had to restore their metabolism, which means they can't actually lose a lot of body fat yet until we do the restoration work. So long caloric deficits become your caloric maintenance. Why do people yo-yo? After they lose weight, they go back to their pre-weight loss eating habits, or what it used to be their caloric intake. Like if someone who's been tracking calories, you've been cutting, right? And you go back to what it used to be your maintenance previously, you will gain all that weight back, plus more in many cases. And it gets even worse. When you start binge eating, a lot of people try to deplete themselves dramatically from food, from calories. They see great progress short term, but what happens is they end up developing these, because the body, what automatically does is like perceives that as a threat, hormonal balances occur, and you start, perceiving starvation, and you start binge eating uncontrollably. Okay? And when that happens, your body starts producing new fat cells. This is called novolipogenesis. Okay. And it makes it even harder for weight loss attempts, for future weight loss attempts. The solution to this is executing a proper reverse dieting, bringing the calories back up to a sustainable intake with minimal fat gain. Now, let's do this practically. The next couple of slides will actually be extremely helpful. It's just how to. We're going to dive into the how to. So everybody have something to take notes. And let's get into it. So let's take John, for example. Okay. He's a male, 30 years old, 5'10". He weighs about 220 pounds, which is 100 kilograms. His body fat percentage is 20%. Now, the goal after talking to John was that he initially said, what I got out of the conversation was, dude, I want abs. I want abs. I don't care about how much weight I lose. I just want a six-pack for my weight. Okay. And we showed John other transformations, and we came up with this number of 8% body fat. That would be a very nice spot for him to lose all this, to get a six-pack. Okay. So from 20% to 8%, that's 12% difference. And that is 12 kilograms. A realistic, sustainable time frame for John, considering his maintenance, was 16 weeks. So the target weight loss is 12% of his current fat mass, and that is 26.46 pounds, 12 kilograms. Now, moving forward, so you can input all the numbers. You can take a screenshot of this, or you can take a picture of this and use it for yourself. Because the same way we did this process, we followed this process with John, this can work for you. So what are the steps required for John to get six-pack shredded? Number one, find out John's maintenance energy intake. Number two, find out John's deficit goal, his daily kilocalorie intake for his fat loss goals. Number three, find out John's daily protein needs. How much protein does John need to eat? Number four, find out John's daily macronutrients. And we're going to dive into each and every step together. So let's determine the maintenance energy intake. That is called total daily energy expenditure. That's basically the total amount of calories that you consume in a day, including your breathing, walking around, drinking water, digesting food, sweating, going to the bathroom, exercising, everything. That's your TDEE. There are two ways to find that out. The first one, which is the most accurate, this is the one that we're covering today. It's tracking weight and tracking food for at least 2 weeks using MyFitnessPal, using a food scale, and using a body weight scale. Usually when we have students that join the program that have all this data, it's pretty easy for us to gauge their TDEE and get them in the right caloric intake so they can start making progress faster. The second way is not as accurate, however, applies to the general population. It works on averages, and it doesn't apply for outliers. And sometimes if you are an outlier, you won't know this until you try. Then you totally got to go to approach number one. The second one is called the Mueller equation. And basically the formula is here. It's a long formula. I'm not going to do with this during this call. But we apply this formula with caution, though, because again, there might be outliers out there. So, and we've done this for long enough, so we know exactly after 2-3 weeks who's an outlier, who's not, and then we change things up. But you can take a screenshot of the formula and you can put your numbers in it, because you will see that it actually gives you some close to accurate for a lot of people, close to accurate numbers. Now, from here, using the first principle, you want to track your weight and you want to track your food for at least 2 weeks as accurately as possible. For those of you who signed up earlier, you got, again, 2 trainings where I show you exactly how to track as accurately as possible. So you can start doing this. If you haven't done it yet, you can start doing this for yourself. You got to start tracking. That's the first, like, we have people who come to us like, hey, I want to get in shape, but I'm not willing to track. I'm not willing to meal prep. Yeah, that's totally fine. That works. But you have to eat what I'm telling you exactly and outsource the food from the same company, and they cook the same things over and over again. That does not give you the power, freedom. You don't have that. When you start tracking, you start developing that awareness and you understand, okay, where am I dropping the ball? Where am I eating more calories? Where am I eating more fat or whatever, right? So you got to start tracking. We look at the average caloric intake in relation to the body's weight, and it's a trend, okay? We want to look at that trend for the last 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks. I prefer 4, ideally, but 2 is fine, because we start adjusting after a while, depending on how the body progresses. For most people, the weight fluctuates a few pounds. If you notice this, if you've been tracking, for a couple of weeks, you get super excited. I lost 2-3 pounds. And then at the end of the week, boom, these 2-3 pounds are back, right? It's a normal thing. That's why it's important to track every single day and look at the weekly trends every 7 days. Okay, if you're plateauing, then obviously you're not doing something right. So week 1, these are the numbers here. These are legit days tracked. If I zoom in, let me see if I can. Yeah, if I zoom in, you guys can see all the calories here tracked. So let's see. Okay. Week 1, we get the average. So you add up this day plus this day, Monday, Tuesday, all the way to Sunday, and then you divide that by 7, and what we got here is 2,780 kilocalories. Average weight, you step on the scale every single morning and you write that down. Ideally, bowel void. Okay, you go to the bathroom. Don't hydrate, don't eat. Step on the scale, write it down. Do this for 2 weeks. The first one, the average weight was 220.8. The total caloric intake for the week was 19,464. And then week 2, 3,044. The average daily intake calories, average weight 219.11. Total intake is 21,312. Now, John's weight has been at 219.95. So obviously there's no much fluctuation there. It's like pretty much John is stuck. So, and he's TDEE, what we did was we added this plus this and divided by 2, and that's 2,912 kilocalories. Now we have everything that we need to determine John's deficit for this specific goal, that of losing 12% body fat, which is 26 point something, I think 2646, something like that. Okay, everybody following? Just say yes in the chat or comments, so I know you guys are following along. If you have any questions. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys for letting me know. It's a little awkward when I'm speaking in front of the camera and I don't hear any voices. I don't see any faces. It's just, okay. Now we need to determine John's energy deficit goal for the 16 weeks. Here's what we know. Again, John, 30 years old, 5'10", 220, 100 kilograms. Body fat percentage, he's at 20%. He wants to get a six-pack, he wants to see abs. It can happen. That can happen. And I say can because some people are different, built different. If you don't have a lot of muscle mass, you might look skinny fat. And we need to, especially if you don't have a lot of lean tissue, we want to do this in a very different way than someone who does already have quite a bit of muscle mass and a lot of fat to lose. Because if we're going aggressive on someone who does not have a good amount of muscle mass, they start losing this muscle, and it just gets harder and harder because the metabolism slows down. Target weight loss, 12%, that's 26 pounds, 12 kilograms. The time frame that John is committed to is 16 weeks. Okay, so we know that his total daily energy expenditure, which again is the maintenance, is 2,912 kilocalories. Losing 1 kilogram of body mass, and we train our students, because this 1 kilogram, 70% is fat, 30% is lean tissue. Out of that 30% lean tissue is very little is muscle. And so don't worry about that yet. Okay, that's something that it's too advanced and it gets complicated. But just keep this in mind. In order for me to lose 1 kilogram, which is 2.2 pounds of weight, I need a deficit of 5,841 kilocalories. And we have all these formulas and everything. It's basically for coaches. It's for me, learned in college and nutrition courses and all that stuff. But this is what it takes for you to lose 1 kilogram, 2.2 pounds. You need to be in a 5,841 deficit. John wants to lose 12 kilograms. So what we do is we take 5,841, multiply that by 12, and that gives us 70,092 kilocalories. That's a total deficit for 16 weeks. Okay, that's the total amount that John needs to be mindful of. And we take that number, we divide it by 16 right here, okay, and we get 4,348 kilocalories, which is a deficit for the week. And so what do we do next? Okay, we find out what's the daily deficit. So we take this number, we divide it by 7, and we get 625.82. Gets a little too mathematical here, but this is what it takes, is the science of weight loss. So that's what you guys are learning. Okay, you can be coaches with this. Just kidding. So now let's determine what's the daily caloric intake for John. So we know that his maintenance is 2,912. His daily deficit is 925.82. Okay, so what we do is we take we take the TDEE and we minus daily deficit, which is 625, right? And that is John's daily caloric intake, 2,286, 18 kilocalories per day. So what we normally do in the Hybrid Method Academy is, like, John doesn't want to freak out or get too dogmatic about hitting his numbers to the dot, because that doesn't make any difference either. We just rounded it down to 2,280. Okay, so technically, if John eats 2,280 kilocalories per day, he will lose not anywhere. It's 1.65 pounds per week, which is a total of 12 kilograms, 26 pounds, 26.46 pounds, and hit his goal of body fat within 16 weeks. This is just a good starting point. Okay, let's not forget that John is a human being. The body is an extremely adaptable machine, and things not always go as planned. But if you're following this thing so far, trust me, you're ahead of many people trying to learn weight loss from YouTube. Way ahead. having a coach that understands how the human metabolism works can help you make the necessary adjustments for overcoming. You want to, like, when you stagnate, when you hit a plateau, you want to understand how to overcome those moments, because that will happen. The body adapts, and I'll dive into that a little later. So let's move on here. Next, we determine John's daily protein needs, because adequate amount of protein during a weight loss attempt is extremely important. And I can't stress enough about this, because this protein is the building block of muscle tissue, builds and repairs it. Okay. And there are two types of protein. Protein that comes from vegan sources, which is less bioavailable, meaning the body does not utilize it at its full capacity unless you're adding, because we've worked with vegans too. I used to be a vegan for 18 months and I messed myself up pretty badly. But when you're doing vegan proteins, another tip that a lot of coaches probably are not telling you, you have to supplement with leucine. It's amino acid. It's an amino acid that makes that protein absorbable, so your body can utilize that for recovery, proper recovery, because training without proper recovery is useless. So protein, all tissues in the body, organs, skin, hair, nails are built from and reinforced by proteins. Proteins are also responsible for the creation of other critical molecules in the body, like hormones and enzymes. And it's the most critical macronutrient when it comes to programming nutrition for body recomposition outcomes. Okay, so if you want to preserve and build, if you're a newbie, if you're barely starting to lift weights, you want to eat protein, because you might be building muscle even though you're in a caloric deficit. If you've been working out for a while, doing resistance training for a while, you might not grow as much. But eating adequate amounts of protein will help you preserve as much muscle as possible. Also, protein helps with preventing cravings and overeating calories. Protein is very satiating. So what we normally do is we calculate anywhere between 2.2 and 3 grams per kilogram lean mass. The more aggressive the cut, the closer to 3 grams, sometimes 3.2, 3.5 per kilogram lean mass. Okay, so now John, current weight 220, body fat 20%. His lean mass, what we do is this: take the current weight minus the body fat percentage. It's 80 kilograms. That's 176.3. That's his lean mass. Now, in order to determine the protein intake, we can ask John, hey, do you like more protein or not as much protein? But it will still be a good amount. So if he says, where is that? I don't like as much protein, then we can go with 2.2. If he likes protein so-so, 2.5. But usually we start with 2.5. Multiply that by his weight in kilograms. Once again, not pounds, kilograms. And that is 200 grams of protein per day. Multiplied by 4, you see this: 1 gram of protein, 1 gram of carb, how many calories each macronutrient have. There are also fiber is a macronutrient, alcohol is a macronutrient. They're not here yet. We have more advanced courses on that. But just for now, it's important to understand that, we get 800 kilocalories from protein. Now, what's next? Determining John's daily macronutrients. Okay, the simple rule for anyone getting started with macros is you don't have, if you don't have that practice, that training, if you haven't done it for long enough, you don't have to hit all the macros perfectly all the time. It's enough in the beginning, especially, to hit a protein intake goal. So in John's situation, 200 calories, 200 grams of protein and 2,280 kilocalories. That's it. Okay, as long as you're hitting those two numbers, you're good. That also allows you more flexibility. Does it mean it works all the time, 100%? Sometimes there are, again, outliers. There are people who need more attention. More advanced method, you take the daily kilocalorie intake. Okay, know your protein intake is 200 grams. We'll multiply that by 4 is 800. We minus 800 from 2,280, and that's 1,480. Okay. We recommend a 60% carb, a 40% fat split to be more balanced. However, you can create it the way you want it, but you want at least, for ladies, let's say 30 grams of fat intake per day, at least, for proper hormonal balance. And for guys, 40 to 50 grams per day. You don't want to go below 40. Become hypogonadal if we're looking at your hormones. So 60% from 1,480, that's 888 kilocalories, divided by 4, that's 222 grams of carbs per day. 40% from 1,840, that's 592 kilocalories, divided by 9, that's going to be 65 grams of fat. So we already have all the macros. So, okay, so daily caloric intake 2,280, protein 200, carbs 220, fat 65. Pretty easy so far. What is next? Well, step 1 is adding the numbers into John's MyFitnessPal account. Hey, John, we have a one-on-one call. If he doesn't know how to do it, it's super easy. You can look it up. And step 2 is figuring out the daily food options that fit into those numbers and create adherence, because adherence above everything. That's the rule. If you don't find something that you can stick to, you might as well not do it. Okay. Now, how to fulfill the numbers without restrictive diets? First, get good at tracking, understanding how to track food as accurately as possible. It's impossible to track 100% accurately, just so you know, but less accurate and consistent, it's better than not tracking at all. We basically cover this in modules, training modules, and depth in the Hypermethod Academy for our students. Food density. Mastering the food density game and playing by its rules. I'm going to dive into that today as well. Planning ahead, planning out your meals ahead of time. When you want to have ice cream or you want to go to a restaurant, plan ahead. If you want to stand out from the crowd with your physique. Delicious recipes, having reliable tools for macro-friendly recipes. And I'll share one tool that I really enjoy with you today. Okay. And speaking of eating clean, you know, a lot of times people say, oh, in order for me to lose weight, I just have to eat clean. Like, okay, when you plateau, what do? Eat cleaner, wash your food with detergent. What do? You know, and I'm just curious, has anyone here tried any diets? Would you mind dropping in the chat? What diets have you tried in the past? Just kind of get an idea of where everybody's been at. And those of you watching live in the group, if you don't mind sharing in the comments, any diets that you guys tried. It's interesting to kind of see, because I've done keto, I've done paleo, I've done Atkins, I see here. I've been vegan, like I said. I did low fat. That was a crazy, never recommend that. Mediterranean, intermittent fasting. I tried all these. Who else? Mediterranean. There we go. Protein waffles and mug cakes every day, Highly says. Love that. Keto, paleo, vegan, eating air. There we go. Yeah. So Highly got something interesting there. The protein waffles and mug cakes. That's what I'm going to share with you guys today. She's getting ready for her pro show, and we both had this amazing waffle that she's making, and we just had a good time. And it's delicious and filling. So, but it comes down to mastering these skills. 5 reasons why diets don't work long term, especially. Well, first is lack of flexibility for today's lifestyle and environment. We you know, you want to do keto, you go to a party, you're kind of forced to eating some carbs, you know, drink, blah, blah. Try your, okay. So it's, again, unsustainable for today's life that we live in, the world that we live in. Most people hit plateaus very quickly after sticking to a diet for a while and don't know what to do next. I hear this a lot, but we recently had, like I said, 2 individuals who have been trying diets, and they told me that, you know, I've lost a good amount of weight, but my body didn't change significantly. Well, understanding macros actually help you build a physique that you want to build, get that look, muscular tone. And diets are very limited when it comes to that. Number 3, easy to fall off track and develop eating disorders, right? Like how many times we've seen people, you know, trying the keto and then drinking and having ice cream at a party and come back and they look all like inflamed and retain water and feel like crap, and then start beating themselves up, and then they go into this downward spiral of self belittlement, shame, and all that. It's not necessary. It's just unnecessary drama. You know, it's not needed. Diets develop deficiencies. So if you're you know, I trained one time with a guy. We did a high intensity interval training, like CrossFit style. And it was heavy weights, fast movements. And the guy hit a wall pretty quickly because he didn't have carbs in his system, and he almost threw up and he wasn't able to finish the workout. I had a good amount of carbs before, and I was just fine. And we see this all the time. Like people are depleted. When we pull a blood work, a comprehensive blood work analysis for our students, we see a lot of deficiencies. And the ones that have been on a diet for a long period of time, they basically have the most deficiencies. None of them are meant to last. None of these diets are meant to last, and hence they're not a good solution long term. Now, why our students lose weight and keep it off long term? You've seen Hailey dropping in the chat about, you know, mug cakes and waffles and stuff like that, and sometimes we're making our own ice cream. You know, they learn delicious recipes that are easy to cook and fit into their nutritional targets. You know, they learn how to properly add variety without compromising progress. Because if you get bored of the same meals over and over again, you reach out to your coach and we give you ideas, right? The app that we're using allows them to quickly swap meals without going overboard with their calories. The app calculates everything, computes the numbers for them, and they pull the recipes that can fit for whatever they have left from their macros. When the process is realistic and yields amazing results, why would anyone go back to where they started, to suffering, to pain? Why? There's no need for that. Okay. Now, these are like what you see here in the picture. In these pictures, these are real meals shared in our VIP community. Would you be opposed to getting the best shape of your life while enjoying good meals, delicious meals? I doubt. Now, the caveat here is that everything has to be tracked and adjusted for your caloric budget, and that's our specialty. Okay. And then they're having at least, most of these guys here at the bottom, at least one ice cream or muffin or pancake, oat cake, whatever, a day at least. And I would rather have someone learn how to eat what they love in moderation than refraining completely and binging after. Tracking. Use a food scale and track your actual daily food intake in grams, milliliters, milligrams, ounces, not in cups, not in pieces, not in slices, not in tablespoons, teaspoons, none of that. Adjust your daily caloric intake until you hit your calories consistently and protein consistently, and then you learn that process and then move on to the next step, which is finding recipes, more advanced recipes that you get to enjoy and learn how to fit them in your caloric intake and into your protein. And then you start hitting your macros more consistently and confidently. And then you start adding more variety. but there's one step at a time. This is what we teach in the program. We can do it for you and start with your current eating habits. This is what we normally do, and it flows very naturally. If you value time more than anything else, that's why I'm here. We literally do this all the time for our students. We start with your current eating habits. We'll look at what does it look like, and then we show you exactly how to make the tiny adjustments that make the biggest differences there. Okay, let's move on here. We have food density to cover. This is the number of calories per gram of food. Some are higher than others, which means that while losing weight, you must eat smaller amounts if you choose to have higher density foods, and it can be unsustainable. So if you're looking at these examples, like bread, 100 grams, more than double than 100 grams of potato in calories. Red meat, okay, double than chicken breast. Yes, a lot of times people say, well, I eat all organic, grass-fed, grass-finished. It doesn't matter. That's the thing. Like, you have to let go of that idea. It does not matter. You have to create a caloric deficit, and if the weight doesn't move, you're not doing it right. Banana, 89, that's 32. So yes, again, you can hit your macros with high density foods like pasta, breads, but to lose like sauces and stuff and drinks with calories. But to lose weight, you would have to eat very small amounts, and that is sustainable. It's unrealistic. Okay, you won't feel satiated. Another thing here, like, look at this. So this is morning coffee run, 1470, and this is a whole day of eating. More whole foods. I'm not saying it's not processed, but there's some. Okay, there is a debate between processed foods and whole foods. The thing is this: they both are foods. They're okay. They work, but there are some that work better for specific goals than others. Okay, so processed foods are usually hyper palatable, easier to eat, and more calories. Okay, how easy it is to eat bunch of donuts or candy compared to a salad or potatoes. Have more kilocalories per gram compared to whole foods. Depleted from fiber. Fiber helps with satiety. Right? That's why you're getting frequent cravings. You're not getting in enough quality fiber. Some have more calories than specified on the food label. They're not accurately labeled. Can be included while tracking to lose weight for adherence. Again, if that's what you want, add an ice cream at the end of the day. We can show you how to track it, have it consistently, and then make progress. But don't freak out because you don't have it. We use the 80-20% rule. This is something that we teach in the program, so people consistently have variety. Whole foods are richer in fiber, keep you satiated for longer compared with processed foods. Lower density, you can eat bigger amounts without over-consuming calories. Richer in bioavailable nutrients, which are nutrients that your body can actually use, versus the processed foods that are injected with nutrients that are not as bioavailable, not as effective. Contribute to a longer lifespan. We got to talk about that shortly. Ideal for sustainable fat loss and keeping the weight off long term. What we do in the program, this is how you're not following another boring diet ever again and fall off track, is getting watering recipes for fat burning, right? Through our coaching app. This is what every student in the Hybrid Method Academy gets. A tool for you that I'm going to share right now. So we have about, let's see here. Almost 20 slides. It might take us another 10-15 minutes. Is everybody on board with that? Like staying longer so we can finish this? Say yes in the chat and in the comments. So I know I'm getting overly excited about delivering and sharing all this information with you. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Awesome, guys. Yeah, so let's get going here, because this tool that I'm going to share with you is going to be a game changer. And if we're looking here, there are multiple. So you can use eatthismuch.com. If you put / this is a referral, full disclosure, it's a referral link. But the reason why I put it here is because this gets you a free month if you want to try it. So instead of 14 days trial. So it gets you a full month. You have plenty of time to explore this this tool. MyFitnessPal recipe directory section. Some of you are familiar with this. And the good thing about eatthismuch.com is that it has the Mueller equation there. So yeah. So Eat This Much is awesome. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through it right now. I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see this? Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. What I do here, I'm not going to go into full detail. You go to profile, but basically I go to, I start with diet settings. And what I do here is I set my, like if you have any exclusions or anything like that, you have a ton here. But let's see, I don't need any of them. I eat anything. Meals and layout, usually I have breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. So I do that. And then let's say, who can we can create a new meal. Actually, I'm going here to the layout and create a nutrition target. The thing is this, and the way I'm showing you, this is going to be the most accurate, the closest one to the Mueller equation without you doing the Mueller. So lose weight. I'm a male, 5'10". Let's see, right now I'm 186. I'm 31. Body fat is low. I'm very active. And if you hover over this, you'll get all that, like 6 to 7 workouts. Actually, let's put moderately active. My goal is to, again, calculating, your body fat percentage, you minus the rest to get the level of leanness that you want. And that would be probably 175 for me. And good way to lose is 1 pound or 2 pounds per week, but that can be a little too aggressive for me because I don't have a lot of body fat. If you're more than, for guys, if you're more than 14-15% body fat, you can focus on 2. For ladies, if you're more than 25% body fat, you can go with 3 or 2. So I'm going to put 1.5 here for myself, just for fun. And it gives me my calories, okay? So apply these calories, and I'm going to as percentage of calories. And what I want to do is I figure out my protein intake first. I'm going to put this guy, so let's see, 180. I'm going here in grams. If you follow the formula that I shared with you, you can go here and do it with grams. If not, you can go in like percentages. So I'm going to do probably 45 here. Percentage, fat, maybe 25. And protein, let's see. Profile already exists. Okay, so manual test 1, save, and then apply. And then what's going to happen here? You go to meal planner and you regenerate week, automate. And as you can see, except this one, everything is added in. Okay, now breakfast. If I don't want to have filet mignon, I just refresh this and I get shrimp lettuce. I want to swap this. I have Thai tuna. But what I wanted to show you here is like, okay, I want to add something else that I enjoy. So let's see, pancake. Strawberry protein pancake. I want to take this root beer out. And if you go here to details, it shows you, carbs, how far off or close you are to the goal, fat, protein. So it's a really nice tool to really like dial into your nutrition and have variety and all that stuff. So I hope you guys find this helpful, because it worked, and it works really well for a lot of people who are getting started. It does take some time, but it's better than trying to figure out everything from scratch. Any questions around that? Let's see the chat here. Resistance training and cardio. Is it required? Are these two required for weight loss? Well, the short answer is no. Okay. The easiest way to create a caloric deficit is basically through food, nutrition. And here's the reason why I say that. Well, you can easily eat 10,000 calories in a sitting by going to a restaurant and having a full course meal, including drinks. And people are not even aware of that, but it's very realistic. I did the math. We went to this pancake place here in Utah, and I did like a full course thing, and it was close to 10,000 calories, right? Running a marathon, for those of you who are into like endurance sports, I used to run half marathons, but running a marathon on flat can only burn between 2,000 and 3,000 calories, while you can eat easily 10,000 calories in one sitting without even being aware. Okay. Proper resistance training, however, is required for preserving lean tissue during weight loss. Okay. Consistent resistance training has been associating with also keeping the weight off long term, because when you perform resistance training, what's going to happen is you feel more satiated. Okay. Cardio is not required for weight loss, but it does improve cardiovascular health. And I'm not saying cardio is not good, but it's not needed. And a lot of times we see people wasting time on Peloton bikes, sweating buckets at the gym with high intensity draining workouts, doing 2 workouts a day, 7 days a week, just to burn out and eventually give up on their transformation long term. Why do that when you can do this much easier? It's not necessary. Now, how to get in the best shape of your life with 30-minute training sessions per day. There are 5 laws of hypertrophy, and I've learned these from one of my cousins, who's actually a bodybuilder, and his wife, and then coaches that I've had over the years in the health and fitness area. And my last coach too always talks about these things. So first, learn the basics, get better at the basics, master the basics, and stay consistent with the basics. The basic lifts: squat, deadlifts, lunges, pull-ups, push-ups, bench press, overhead press, all these things we teach in the Hydro Method Academy. That's the foundation week that every single student needs to learn. You got to get good at the basics, and then learn the form properly, the biomechanics, the way you're moving and you're aligning your joints. Get better at the form. Master the form and stay consistent with the form. Don't change things out all the time. Feel the muscle that you intend to train. Once you realize, okay, I'm doing lateral raises, we have this like new students in the program. They do lateral raises, they pull the weight up with their muscle, and they have their traps bigger than their shoulders. They do abs and they feel that in the lower back and the hip flexors. They do squats and they feel that in their butt, not in their quads. They do like a lat pull down and they feel that in their arms and rear delts, not in their lats. You're not going to grow if you're not developing this mind-muscle connection. And so feel the muscle, focus on feeling the muscle that you intend to train before you make the workouts any harder or more complicated or more diverse. It's a waste of time. Forget about the reps. Take each set close to failure. Don't worry about lifting a dumbbell 12 times and putting it down because you did your set without getting close to failure. Close to failure means that you have 1 or 2 repetitions in reserve. And how do you recognize that? Well, the form falls apart. You start popping your shoulder forward, like the form is not correct anymore. Put the weight down, move on, right? So don't worry about 12 reps, 8 reps, how many reps did I do? It doesn't matter. Take those muscles close to failure. Training without proper recovery, without sleeping at least 7 hours per night, is a waste. We've done that with people who are, you saw Kelly, who was a pilot in the Hybrid Method Academy and a national pilot in the beginning. We were checking his blood consistently. He would work out like crazy, but he wouldn't sleep because he had to take trips. He had to fly internationally. And we looked at his testosterone cortisol ratio. It was out of whack completely. The recovery was not good. He plateaued. We had to slow down on working out, focus on sleeping. So it's like, just to add in junk volume in the gym, you don't do any good. This is a magic. This is a resource that I'm keeping, and I'm sharing this with friends and people who are actually willing to put in the work. This split can literally change your physique if you're doing it right, if you're following those laws that I shared with you. Basically, it's a total of 3 hours per week training, 3 exercises per day. For each exercise, you perform 4 to 5 sets to failure, depending on your how advanced you are. And you take it, like, basically you go to the gym for 30 minutes and you do 3 exercises, and that's pretty much it. And this is a split for men, basic, super basic, and this is a split for women. Men need to build bodies differently than women. I see often couples at the gym, and it's ridiculous because the guy is a meathead walking around all buff and huge, and he has his delicate partner, woman, who do crazy bench presses and overhead presses and like deadlifts and pull-ups and rows, and like guys, it's not, you need different in order for you to look, because we're transforming the body, but not only, okay, lose some weight. We want you to look like someone who's an elite, not just lose some weight. Everybody can lose weight. So if you want to look differently, you got to train differently as well. And so this is a split that makes a difference. You can take a screenshot, take it to the gym, take a selfie, tag me, and let me know how we went. I would highly appreciate knowing that you did that work for yourself. Cardio before or after weight training? Always after weight training, because you have not cortisol, you have glucose, glycogen in your body that can be very effectively utilized for pushing, like challenging yourself on the training. And so you want to be optimal lifting weights, and then whatever is left, yeah, you can walk around and all that. Cardio, again, is not necessary for weight loss, but it's a good question. So always before, or always after, I'm sorry. Okay, what's the real problem with the weight loss? Well, the harsh truth, I keep saying these words differently. Weight loss experts don't want you to know. Well, there are a lot of things that weight loss experts so-called, don't want you to know. But the data we have now is that in about roughly 100 people who attempt to lose weight, only 5 people manage to keep it off after 3 years. Okay, out of 100 people who reduce weight, and you have the references here if you want to do your further investigation, but out of 100 people who reduce weight by 10% of their total body weight, less than 20% keep it off after 1 year. It's a big amount. After 2 years, it's about 15% only who manage to keep it off. After 3 years, about 5 people are actually keeping it off. It's pretty scary. It gets a little depressing here, but there's hope, because that's why we're going over all these techniques and tricks, and so you know exactly what it takes. Of the people who regain the weight, between 1 and 2/3 end up heavier than they started. And we'll go over that. The amount of weight people gain over the initial loss is proportional to the number of times they have attempted to diet in the past. That means every time you try to diet and fail to maintain the weight loss, you basically gain more weight than before. So it's like a staircase. You keep going up, up, and it just gets extremely overwhelming. Okay. It's like taking one step forward, two steps backwards. That's how it feels, unfortunately. Because of this one concept, which is metabolic adaptations that occur. And what happens is the body gets better at utilizing energy. Cardio becomes less effective for fat loss. When the body defends itself against fat loss, it's basically trying to keep you in homeostasis, in a balance. The body wants to be in a balance. And you creating a negative energy balance is the opposite of homeostasis. And this triggers a number of adaptations to adapt to the reduced caloric intake. Every element of energy expenditure is going to be impacted to some degree, and some more than others. And so cardio, for example, your body starts utilizing the energy more efficiently. The caloric deficit slowly becomes your caloric maintenance after a long time, and it's easier to gain weight back plus more without proper reverse dieting. I can't stress enough about this. Like, a lot of people think that I'm joking until they're done with losing 30, 40, 100 pounds and they go back to whatever and they balloon back up. So you need a proper reverse diet. The closer you get to your goals, the more frequent adjustments are required to avoid plateaus. Okay, so basically what happens is the leaner you get, the more tiny adjustments need to be made to break plateau after plateau after plateau after plateau. And we have, like, our students start understanding this because they get consistent and they see, oh my God, the thing is not moving. Okay, they reach out to their coach. We make the necessary adjustments on time, and they start breaking through plateaus. This happened with Anne-Marie. This happened with a lot of students that you've seen in this. I know a bunch of you know Anne-Marie. That's why I brought her up. But yeah, there's always stuff that need to be overcame. The type of training, nutrition, and recovery are imperative during this process to not lose muscle mass. What do I mean by that? When you are in a caloric deficit, you don't want to do crazy, tiring, energy draining workouts. You mainly want to focus on preserving muscle. Train for hypertrophy, train for building muscle. That's your main focus. You don't want to be a jackrabbit. You don't want to do crazy cardio. You don't want to do any of that, because you're losing muscle mass. And as you're losing muscle mass, you're making it harder for you long term. When done with excessive cardio and restrictive diets, what I was saying, the body wants to deplete muscle. Muscle mass is the most metabolically expensive tissue in the body. That means it needs the most amount of energy to function properly. Now, the nutrition strategy that we provide, what it does is it adapts with you. You get a comprehensive blood work report analysis that will be reviewed one-on-one with your coach. We'll look at your hormones. We'll look at your, are you on the verge of pre-diabetes? We'll look at your cholesterol. Are you inflamed? Your liver enzymes, a lot of things, deficiencies, right? Your coach takes a close look at your current eating habits and the process. Basically, what are you eating? That's where we start. And we start making small adjustments that make big differences in your progress, especially in the beginning. And then we customize a nutrition plan that already includes most of your favorite foods. You don't want to get shocked. We educate you on how to add more variety and delicious recipes without compromising your progress. We provide you with a customized restaurant ordering system for those of you who have to meet clients all the time and struggle with, losing weight, or you show up there and just eat a salad just for the sake of eating, trying to be, mindful of your progress. And that allows you to eat out guilt-free. When progress slows down, your coach will ensure that the necessary adjustments are being made on time to avoid plateaus. A lot of times people do this on their own and they hit a plateau and they think that's it, it's over. No, it's not. We've done this for hundreds of people. It's not over. You just have to be consistent with the things that you've been doing, but also be receptive to feedback and communicating with your coach. When you travel, your coach will help you establish a custom plan so you don't miss out on your trip, but also don't plateau. We have Alea right now. She's in Japan. I think we've had another client, Ty. She went to Hawaii. Like, we always stay in communication with them and make sure that they're taken care of and they know what they're doing. Once you lost the weight, we'll provide the tools that you need to reverse diet with minimal fat gain. Okay, you don't want to put all that body fat back. What's the purpose of investing all this time and, you know, all this energy to just lose a little bit of weight and gain it back? Now, how do things work in the Hypermethod Academy? We use the most advanced and comprehensive app that you will find on the internet, basically. And we have accountability and daily support included in it, customized training and nutrition, habit developing tools, progress tracking, weekly one-on-one live coaching, weekly live mastermind classes, topics on what our students need the most, mindset reprogramming techniques and coaching. So we tried a lot of apps out there on the internet. We wasted a lot of money, a lot of time, and basically by far what we're using right now is the best. It just incorporates everything. You can ask questions, get support all the time. You get adjustments to your workouts, nutrition, real life. For example, if your shoulder hurts, you go to the gym. What do I do for this? It hurts. You have someone there. You have a real person that is there with you, and you ask a question. The person can adjust your workouts live as you are at the gym. You know, in the same app, you pretty much do everything. Now, every workout is customized. And here's what I mean by customization. A lot of times people go online, fill out a little application with a bunch of questions and stuff like that, and they get a bunch of workouts from, like, they're pre-made, and they consider, okay, this person has this issue and they're tiny adjustments. Well, here's the thing. We do work with people that have injuries that they've gone through surgeries. They've been doing rehab. You know, they have weird posture, muscular imbalances, muscle groups that are lagging. So we're considering your goals, short-term, long-term, what you want to do, your lifestyle. Are you going to the same gym? Do you have access to a gym? If not, what equipment do you have? We educate you on that. Travel. Do you travel often? Okay. Sometimes we have people, like, overnight, they get a call. I need to leave town and I'm going to this gym. We don't have a workout specifically designed for that specific gym. They get there, they film in the morning, they send, or the night before, they send that to their coach. Their coach puts together a custom workout for them, knowing their student, knowing the machine, the device, the training machines in that gym, and they built a workout for that. Okay. Hybrid. Do you train at home? Do you train at the gym? Both. Realistic time available. Some people in our program work out for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Some people work out for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Okay, whatever works for you. Body type. It's a difference how an ectomorph trains versus an endomorph, or a combination of both, right? So you got to be mindful of that. Your current injuries, muscular imbalances. You've heard Anne-Marie share in the THM community. Some of you know this. Like, she worked with a physical therapist before for years. That person wasn't able to help her. We started working with her. We started incorporating rehab routines and corrective exercises, and now she can lift her arm overhead and do all kinds of things. And now we take it even further because she has she's had some scar tissue. We look into that. We surgically remove that. I'm not going to do that. She goes to a doctor, obviously, and then do the rehab so she can improve her performance in her lifts. Lagging body parts. Ladies, you want bigger glutes. Guys, you want bigger arms or shoulders, right? Or chest. You don't have any chest. You don't have any arms. You don't have any. So you got to know how to plan these into your routine to not overtrain them, not undertrain them, but get the optimal stimulus so you can keep growing. Experience level. Some of you have quite a bit of experience, are really good at lifting and filling your body. Some of you are not. If you don't have as much experience, we have a lot of one-on-one sessions where the coach assesses your form and go over your important areas that you need to address before you take on full workouts and risk injury. Every plan adapts with you. What does that mean? You're making progress. As you're making progress, we're tracking all that progress. You're tracking your reps, your weights. You get workouts with the videos. You hear me talking in the background. This is what you do. This is how you move. This is how you align your body. And as we're tracking this, you're tracking your weights, your sets, your volume, and we increase this. We adapt this with you as you're getting stronger. Okay, so it's a very important factor too to avoid plateaus. Now, I have a little bonus here for those of you who are interested to optimize your health before it gets too late. And I put this on the website. We're using a comprehensive blood work report analysis, and this can be a game changer for your longevity. Whether you're doing it through your physician or you go to insighttracker.com, if you go there, go to the ultimate plan, scroll all the way down, and you will see the biomarkers included with the plan. Now, this is I think an older screenshot because now they have another biomarker that shows you the risk of cardiovascular disease or a heart attack. So they included that in there. And I think that is called APBOB. But if you do it through Insight Tracker, you can take a 25% discount by applying Emmanuel Pro 25. Again, if you're doing it through your physician and your insurance covers that, just take a screenshot of this and take it to your doctor and tell them, hey, I want this. And then if you have questions, you can hop on a call with us and we can go over it the same way we do it for our clients. We're here to help you keep the transformation going. Weight loss strategy, every weight loss coach can provide. Okay, now the thing is this. We need metabolic restoration. We need weight maintenance. We need a weight maintenance strategy. Metabolic restoration means reverse dieting. Very few weight loss body transformation coaches provide that. Achieving a permanent transformation with your body and health is our specialty because we focus on behaviors. We focus on mindset reprogramming. We focus on lifestyle. Those of you who attended Medicine Portal and were in Hailey's workshop, you already experienced some of that. Those of you who have not, the way we're tapping into the subconscious mind, it's a very unique approach that a lot of coaches and trainers are not teaching. And obviously, your mind is a reflection of what's happening on the outside. If you're ready to start getting in charge of your body and health and stop yo-yoing, what you want to do is first tell yourself the truth. Okay, check your weight, take progress photos, look at your health markers, do a blood work. Okay, step on the scale, take progress photos like I shared with you. Then you decide to take charge. Stop waiting or asking for someone else's permission. Not your wife, not your husband. It's you. It's on you. We learn about your goal. Basically, what we do is if you schedule a one-on-one consultation, we get to sit down, learn about your goals and your background to see if or how we can help. Then we build a plan 100% tailored for you. It includes training, nutrition, recovery, mindset coaching. And then we both commit to an accountability plan. One-on-one weekly coaching, weekly check-ins and adjustments. Again, a lot of times the body adapts, hit plateaus, yo-yo. Okay, you get excited that you lose weight and then boom, step on the scale and you start freaking out. Lastly, you got to honor your word, integrity with your own word. That simply can transform your life for good. You just have to stick to your promise, to your word. Whenever you say something, execute. Now, another thing, why waste time and energy by making it harder than it is? Why work out 2 times a day for 7 times a week when you can work out 3 to 4 times a week? Why trying to stick to unsustainable crash diets when you can have a simple plan built around your macros that gives you the variety that you want so you can adhere to? Why do hours of cardio when you can actually do some activities that you enjoy, knowing that your diet is on point and you have a plan that is predictable? Why avoid eating cake or whatever cookie at a party or ice cream just to binge eat later, when you can have your favorite foods almost daily? Like I shared with you, we do have people in the group that eat muffins and cakes and whatever every single day in bigger, smaller quantities, but they track it and they feel good about it and they can adhere to the plan. Hiring intense workouts. These make you quit sooner or later. When you can get a sustainable training plan that guarantees progress. Why sticking to a plan that lasts a few weeks or months? When you can create a plan, you can learn how to learn about your body, process that you're going through, see what works, see what doesn't work, and build that plan that's easy to adhere to for life. Okay. And the one question that you might ask yourself right now is, hey, Emmanuel, you've talked about all these things. Is it really possible to lose weight, improve my health, and completely transform my body to look and feel like an elite level leader? This question is in a lot of people's minds all the time. They doubt themselves, or they think they doubt us. But the thing is, check in with yourself. Who are you doubting more? And here's the thing. If you do it the way we show you, if it does not work, we'll write you a $5,000 check. No questions asked. Because I'm so confident that it works. It worked for so many people. There's so much social proof right now that I feel so good about it, and it's just hard to not challenge you on that. Okay. And I'm challenging you with love because I want to see you ready and transform. And so if you're ready to actually experience some transformation, what I invite you to do is grab your phone, snap a picture of this, go on the link, and you can schedule a discovery call for next week. We have a couple of spots available. What we do is we dive into your goals, into your lifestyle, into your current health situation. We learn about your specific, what exactly you want to do in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, 5 years from now. Time frame for the initial transformation, the challenges that you are facing right now. You get to find out if this program is or is not for you, because it's not for everybody. And if it is, if we both realize that, okay, this might work out for us, then what's going to happen is we will create a plan of action that will allow you to transform your body, guaranteed.